109 points back. And then Ben Kennedy, he's in 10th place in the 11 truck, 297 points and 120 points back. And then from 11th to 15th place in order, Ray Black Jr., Tyler Young, Justin Boston, Brandon Jones, and Corbin Forrester. From 16th to 20th place in order, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Mason Mingus, Travis Cavapel, Norm Benning, and Austin Theriot. 21st, 25th place in order, Jordan Anderson, Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, Timmy Hill, and then in 25th place is Matt Tifft. Alright, so the Chase Grid standings. Alright, now you have the top 10, okay, which is already filled in, and of course you get in automatically with wins. So here's how it goes. As of Friday, July 10th, 2015, at 8:16 p.m. Eastern Time, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Chase Grid standings, top 10 as follows. Alright, so far you got Jimmy Johnson. He's in first place with 4 wins, 10 top 5s, 12 top 10s. Second place is Kevin Harvick with 2 wins, 12 top 5s, and 15 top 10s. Third place is Dale Jr. with 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 11 top 10s. Fourth place, Kurt Busch with 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Joe Logano in 5th place with 1 win, 9 top 5s, 12 top 10s. 6th place, Martin Truex Jr. with 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 14 top 10s. Brad Keselowski, 7th place with 1 win, 3 top 5s, 9 top 10s. 8th place is Matt Kenseth with 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Denny Hamlin, 9th place with 1 win, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s. 10th place, Carl Edwards with 1 win, 1 top 5, and 2 top 10s. And Carl Edwards raced that race at, what race? Oh my goodness, what track were they at? I don't remember. Michigan, I believe it was. They had that rain. Michigan or Kansas. It was one of those. That was the rain-shortened event where they actually stopped the race and called it official. That's Carl Edwards went right there. Alright, so... Alright, here's what we're going to do. Take a quick break, and then we'll just jump right into the final stretch segment, and then we'll call it a day. Stay tuned. The Racing Podcast continues next. Welcome back, everybody, to the Racing Podcast. So, now there were some other big crashes over the course of NASCAR history. And I've been reading this NASCAR book. It's called The 101 Things a NASCAR Fan should know and do before they die. Okay? Some big crashes. Okay, Jimmy Johnson in 2000 during a Nationwide Series event, formerly known as the Busch Series, now known as the Xfinity Series. At Watkins Glen, Jimmy Johnson experienced brake failure as Johnson's car crosses some grassy area, and with brute force, it goes into to the wall. He walked away. Jimmy Johnson says, quote, "I was going 150 miles an hour on a downhill slope into a banked corner with no brakes." He continues, "It got really quiet. I got really calm once I realized I couldn't do anything. I kind of slumped over. It was the best thing I could do. It was an eerie feeling. I just kind of went numb and limp." April 7th, 1990, Michael Waltrip. He loses control of his car over at Bristol. Waltrip's car crashes into an edge of the crossover gate, causing his car to explode. Michael Waltrip says, quote, "It was terrible, but I was okay." Years later, and he continues, "I was fine, so that gives you the mental leg up to do it again. You forgot immediately, and as soon as you're back in the car, you're on it. I just don't remember having any reservations about doing what I do. I just went and did it." April 2009, now here's a classic one, if you want to say that. April 2009 at Talladega, Bart Keselowski makes contact with Carl Edwards, and in turn sending Carl Edwards into the catch fence. Edwards was okay, and it actually, and this is a classic, he actually climbed out of the car and walked across the finish line. And that incident, he was trying to pass Keselowski. Keselowski clipped him, sent him into the fence, and Keselowski actually wound up winning that race. Jeff Gordon crashes at the Poconos 3 years prior to that. Gordon says, quote, "It's definitely rung my bell really good." Now, 100 things NASCAR fans should know and do before they die by Mike Hembry, okay, is the source. Now, of course, the biggest incident in recent history would be Dale Earnhardt Sr. incident at Daytona in 2001, and which, of course, we all know he was wound up dying from that incident, and NASCAR that lost a lot of fans from that, and Dale Earnhardt was killed on the last lap of the Daytona 500, and the newspapers called it Black Sunday. Fans building bonfires inside and outside the track. Sport calling show hosts taking grievance calls. The week after, Time magazine put a picture of Earnhardt Sr. on its cover. At Earnhardt's racing shop in Mooresville, North Carolina, Earnhardt Incorporated, fans gather to leave flowers, pictures, hats, t-shirts, letters, and even speedway programs. NASCAR had received criticism from the media for its so-called slow move, okay, because, they felt that NASCAR wasn't doing enough to improve safety measures. But major safety measures, however, did materialize some decades later after the incident in 2001. The Hans device became mandatory in 2002. That's the head and neck support. Helmet with face guards became mandatory. Full face helmets, as they call it. At Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2002, the safety barrier, also known as the soft wall, was introduced, designed to absorb the impact. And Earnhardt's death led to NASCAR's development of the so-called Car of Tomorrow. The Car of Tomorrow now has came with a longer cockpit area, and the driver's seat positioned closer to the center of the car. Absorbent materials, crushed panels added to the car frame. The Car of Tomorrow debuted in 2007. The drivers complained, however, because the Car of Tomorrow's low racing profile at the time. Now, today's cars that they're racing are known as Generation 6 cars, or simply Gen 6. Now, on April, ESPN.go.com, there was an article talking about the Generation 6 cars, and then the other 5 Generation 6 cars. So the Generation 6 cars, which were introduced in 2013. Now, you had the Gen 1 cars, Generation 1, and those cars ran from 1948 to 1966. You had races like Fire Roberts and Joe Weatherly, who both unfortunately died in crashes in Gen 1 cars. And the Gen 1 cars, deadly flaw was the fuel tank, okay? And Now you had the Generation 2 cars, Gen 2 cars, which ran from 1967 to 1980. You had Richard Petty and his Dodge Charger, Dave Pearson and his Mercury Cougar, and Kelly Yarborough and his Oldsmobiles. Generation 3 cars ran from 1981 to 1991. Then Generation 4 cars ran from 1992 to 2006. Generation 5 cars ran from 2007 to 2012. Now, according to racecar-engineering.com, NASCAR has already considered or started to consider Generation 7 cars and possible turbocharged V6 engines, and brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen, direct injection. Oh my goodness. Fuel injection. A quote from this article says, quote, "The Generation 7 cars are unlikely to take to the track much before 2017, and it remains to be seen if NASCAR's core fans would accept a car without an 8-cylinder engine." And the article was posted in racecar-engineering.com, May 21st, 2013. Now, of course, the restrictor plates, and some people might say, well, if you didn't have the restrictor plates, you wouldn't have the cars racing so close together. Okay, NASCAR started using restrictor plates in 1988. Okay, according to internet sources. Dale Jr., after the incident on Sunday, okay, and Dale Jr., from what I've heard, is a really cool guy to hang out with. And I know people that have gotten VIP passes and actually got to hang out with Dale Jr. and say that he's really cool with the fans. Dale Jr., after the incident on Saturday, says, and this is on FoxSports.com, that he was, quote, on the verge of tears. The driver of the 88 continues saying, quote, "If I had an opinion about it, I certainly would view my opinion." He continues saying, "But it's just a product of going 200 miles an hour. These cars are going fast, and when you put them in odd, rare circumstances like that, they're going to go up in the air. We do everything we can to have made a lot of changes and incorporated a lot of things into these cars to try to keep them on the ground. But you never can in those imperfect situations. There's not much you can do about it." Ryan Newman and Joey Logano have been critical this past week, critical of the dangers of the restrictor plate racing. And those in racing circles have been lobbying to make changes at Daytona and lobbying NASCAR to make changes at Daytona and Talladega. Daytona and Talladega are the two tracks in which restrictor plates are used. Restrictor plates, also known as air restrictors, a device installed at the engine's air intake and limits engine power. Air restrictors are not only used in NASCAR, but they're also used in Formula 3. Now, Formula 3 is kind of like a stepping stone to Formula 1. Le Mans prototypes, and there's other racing as well. IndyCar, I'm not sure. I'm going behind the ear on IndyCar. Although I think IndyCar is going to be a second, because I actually been watching a little of IndyCar, but it's kind of becoming my second love after NASCAR. But alright, so let's go over the schedule. Okay, truck race is over, so we won't go into that. The Xfinity race is going on as we speak, so next week I'll have the results for you, and they're actually lap 61 of 20, and that's as of 8:30 p.m. on Friday. And I do apologize. I was going to come on yesterday, but I wanted to get some more information on the latest events that happened, so I pushed it to Friday. Next week we'll be back to normal. Same as usual, race results, race notes, lead track segment, racing schedule, driver standings, and the final stretch segment, as we do normally. And I'll go into some other details next time. So, Sunday, Saturday, which is tomorrow night, and that is the next Sprint Cup event, and that's Saturday evening, July 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN and PRN, and it's the Quaker State 400 presented by